Well, hey, everybody, welcome back to We Know Texas Vino. We are so excited to be here. My name is Michael.
That's Will.
And you know what, Will? I think we need a little vivacious attitude in this podcast.
I think you're right. I mean, we're missing something.
Who's that
here.
girl over there?
I don't know. Some stranger over there.
Hey, guys.
Hey, it's Jen. Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. And this is We Know Texas Vino.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, hey, everybody, welcome back. We are here again in Fredericksburg, Texas, and I'm so excited to be here. This is actually one I'm actually tingling with a little bit, Will.
I'm giddy right now. Okay?
Yeah, you're giddy. That's a great adjective. I'm giddy. Yeah,
Not
little
schoolgirl.
I love it. Well, we've had a great time today, and we've had a beautiful time because of the weather, the people we've met. But again, we have a great interview here right now, and we're just really, really pumped up.
Yeah. So today has been absolutely amazing. And, we had some, little fun interactions with some people. We went to Serrano, amazing couple, very well educated.
Yes.
And they know wine for sure. And then followed that with Slate Theory. Holy cow.
That was amazing.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
The cave experience. That was really fun that they took us down there and let us participate in that event. But yeah, it was good. And Will, you had a good day?
Oh, man. I'm speechless.
Well, you and I, buddy, we had a little trouble last night because getting up this morning was our mountain we had to climb, right?
I didn't have any problems. You did.
Okay. But it was Will, for all our listeners, kept me up very late with music and wine. And so it was a perfect combination for me since I love both and I love Will too. So that's pretty cool. Well, good. And so, Will, who were we with today?
We are with Amy and Jeff. Now, these two are not just ordinary old people.
No.
These are like the superheroes right now. These are my I want to say my mentors right now. Because what they've created is so amazing. But Jeff and Amy are with Texas Wine Lover app.
Texas Wine Lover app.
Yes.
And our listeners surely have heard about it. We've been broadcasting.
And if I had the button for applause.
Facebook,
All the sorry. I always say app. That's a habit. So, yeah, sorry. So, website. Let's just say global.
Just say Texas Wine Lover.
Yeah, just
we're aiming for world domination in the realm of Texas wine. So,
do y'all get up in the morning and do this whole pinky in the brain thing? Like, what are we going to do today, brain?
No, but maybe that's something we should be looking into. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
Well, we're going to pick your brains today because we're so excited to learn just how this was created and some of your vision and what's going on. I think we've all been pretty, jazzed to hear about that thing. But this is episode 25, you guys. Will, 20, your brainchild about a year ago, just under a year ago, is coming to fruition.
I can't take all this credit at all, Michael. I really, because honestly, this podcast, it was with you. You helped me out with this.
Sure.
And then Amy came along here and helped out with this. And then Jeff, outside the side with Amy was helping with this also, so I can't take all credit on this. And then we got Jen that come on the board here. Yeah. I can't do this without none of y'all.
And we had other help as well. I mean, everybody from people, you picked their brains about technology and growing there, that evolution of what happened there with that, which is spectacular. And then just even our skills, communicating and connecting with people at a high mature level has been a lot of fun too. So, yeah. Well, we're excited. So Jeff and Amy, boy, we're going to tear you guys apart today. You know why? We're going to fillet you because we want to learn how this all happened, and people are so impressed with what's going on here. But before we do that, Will, we do have one awesome thing we have to do. Let's talk about, we're here with one sponsor. Let's real quick give note and kudos to our other sponsor.
Yeah. So Texas Wine Club, we love those guys over there. They do such an amazing job at providing Texas wine to people who can't make it to different parts of Texas. Right. And so, if you go out there, go to texaswine.com and you sign up. If you use We Know Texas Vino, all one word, you get 50% off your first shipment.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I think it's pretty good. I think we should all join right now. Okay, let's take a break.
Done.
1, 2, 3, break. All right, very good. All right, well, let's get after this real quick. So welcome you guys. And we're actually in a beautiful little home right now. I should describe it if I can do my best description. I'll do my best, brilliant artistic description where we're sitting here. When we pulled in here yesterday, I'm like, this is Texas. Yep. This is Central Texas. We're in Fredericksburg and we're in a beautiful community here. And then right here, what's the little river we're next to, Amy?
The Pedernales.
Okay. And so you have a beautiful property. We're on Amy and her husband's property right now. We're in the guest house. And tell me how old this house is.
I think it was built in 1892. This whole property, from the time you turned on Young Lane and crossed the river, it started there and came down Pfeiffer Road and went down. I think it was 400 acres was what we were told. And it got divided up into these 20-something acre ranchettes in the 90s. And so We're on 22 acres in the big house, which is where we do wine tastings and dinners and, all of the fun things that I like to do to entertain. And then this house was actually the first home on that 400-acre ranch. And it was built as this stone structure. And over time, they added a bathroom. Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah, really.
And a kitchen. And they made a loft upstairs. But if you can imagine this little, 400 square feet right here that is the living room, dining room, used to be the entire house.
Wow.
And an entire family lived here, Wow. So it's kind of cool.
Those are the days, right?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Hard work, real hard
I want
work.
a master suite and,
Running water.
Guests on the other side of the house. And,
Air conditioning is pretty sweet. Well, thanks for inviting us. I know Will and I and my wife, we got to crash here last night, and I appreciate that. And we'll stay here again tonight because we have more activities here. But so a beautiful property, great location. You're in the middle of wine country when it comes to Texas, the country of Texas, right? Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that? Are you in the heart of it right here?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's always stuff going on. There are new wineries popping up every week. We have all 510 wineries in the state already listed on our website. And we realized yesterday that we can't rely just on word of mouth. Our little army of Texas wine ambassadors to tell us that a new winery is opening. We need to actually be a little more proactive because it's happening so quickly that we are we're pulling reports from the state of Texas now so that we can see who's applied for a G permit and we can try to get ahead of the game and make sure that we do know everyone and we keep everybody listed.
That's awesome. So the gentleman sitting across from me, my rock and roll brother, right? We both like rock and roll. Jeff, I'm going to give you your kudos. So Jeff, real quick, who are you? Where did you come from? And then, where did this brainchild come from? This thing that you've created?
Well, so I never drank wine really until I met my life partner, Gloria. And that was in 2009 we met. And so she got me actually appreciating what wine is. She will tell this story, and I don't know why I'm telling it, but she came over to my apartment and she said, "Do you have any wine?" I said, "Yeah, it's in the refrigerator." So she went in. She says, "This is a box wine." Well, sorry, that's what I drink. So
I love it.
So she got me drinking wine, and of course we're dating at that time. And I'm thinking, hey, I've been out to Fredericksburg on Main Street doing the shopping and all that. So I noticed there were wineries. Would you like to go? Thinking, hey, we got a weekend together. Would you like to go? And so that started it. We visited wineries in 2010, and just one after the other.
Wow.
And back then there was actually a passport program that when you visited the winery, you could get a stamp. Well, the more stamps you could get, you could get awards. And we had awards of tastings for 10 people, overnight stays at a winery. And I mean, I'm talking around the state. And so it was like, this is good. And so that's pretty much what got us into this thing.
That's interesting.
Well, I think about the app, which we've messed with a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you and I have, and I'm sure Jen, you guys have. And to me, I just think of it. I think of this home, 1894 or whatever it was built. But I cannot believe it was just 13 years ago perhaps, that you really started embracing that. To me, that's astonishing. It's probably the most astonishing thing. I thought for sure this was a 30-year run.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, wow, that was just almost like yesterday that you started this.
And he did it all while he had a full-time career in IT. This was just a passion project that he did in his free time, which meant he had no free time because anytime he wasn't working, he was working.
Right.
He was working on this beast of a website and doing the hard work of visiting the wineries. That's
a bad thing. Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
It's a big state. Okay, I'm sorry.
That is a fact.
Oh man. Well, before we move any farther, we need to give out real quick. We need to say thank you to RK for providing us for our first glass of wine for today. And we
Yes.
had their Chardonnay. We do
2019 Chardonnay, quite lovely, and
Yes.
we finished that bottle
Already.
and
Gone.
moved, and now we've moved on to
Lonesome Vines Pick Pool.
2022, I think.
Yes.
Pic Pool Blanc.
Yes.
Quite
Beautiful.
nice.
So we want to give out a shout out to thank you for
Always.
both those wineries for providing wines for this episode.
Yeah, and you were kind of responsible for that. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Anytime I can get free wine, I'm down with that, buddy.
Well, it wasn't free.
Okay.
But we're drinking it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was free to y'all.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, what you've done is start a tidal wave in my opinion. I've written down some notes here, and I don't even know how to describe it really. What I've been thinking about the last 2 weeks about meeting you and just really giving you a pat on the back. But I think the two of you and Amy, thank you for what the relationship you've built
Yes.
with Jeff. But you're at the heart, in my opinion. You've got something going on here that's pretty spectacular. Everyone we've talked to, I know pre-game we talked about this, but I'm going to be redundant for a minute. Everyone we've talked to is like, oh, we love that app. That app is going to drive traffic to all these places. It's a spectacular idea. So Jeff, was it the IT world or just you're just so passionate about what created that spark?
Oh man. So the idea for the app came out probably about a year and a half ago. And I said, I need something if I'm out on the road and let's say I'm sitting in Fredericksburg on a Monday, where do I go? I want to go visit a winery. And so where do I get that information? And I couldn't find it. So I said, I'm going to create an app. We've never really had a good app here in Texas. We're going to have one. So I did start creating one from worked with a company overseas and got about 80% through, and I realized they didn't even know what a winery was. So they weren't understanding what I needed them to change.
Oh no.
Cancel that, lost a lot of money and my own, and then said, what do I do now? Do I create another one? Do I just give up? And I said, no, I got to do it. So worked with 3 different companies to actually redesign the website, add the additional feature of the guide and the plan your trip to the website, and then that feeds the mobile app. And that came out in December. So it's funny that you guys keep talking about the app,
Right.
which is only like, what, 6 months old
Yeah, right.
compared to the over 12 years we've been doing this.
Wow.
thing.
That's right.
Well, and the only reason I refer to the app a lot, because what do we have in our hand 99% of the time?
Exactly.
We have this mobile device in our hand. And that's why I do apologize for always referring to it as an app, because that's what we have at our hand.
And if that's what you're using the most and where you're going to get your information, then that's obviously what you're going to mention.
Right.
Everything that's on the app is on the website.
Yeah.
So, and then there's more to the website. So
Right.
if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, the website is how to do it.
Yes.
But if you want it quick and convenient, then the app is in your pocket. It's
Right.
going to be the quickest way to find the winery that's closest to you,
Yep.
or who's open on a Sunday, or who allows dogs, or sells cigars,
that.
or there's all these filters you can use
Yep.
to find what it is you're looking for, whether it's somewhere to visit right now next to where you're sitting, or if it's something to plan for a romantic weekend getaway. It's in your hands. So
Right.
that makes sense that it's what you refer to, because
Yep.
it's what you're personally using more.
Well, and some of the things I do mention to a lot of people that they talk about, well, I want to know about more wineries. I do tell them, if you go to the desktop and you sign up on the website, you can actually plan your trip on the website, and then it actually pushes to the app on your phone.
Yep.
And then that way you can just go do your navigate from there. So when I tell
You
them
can
about
do all
that,
your digging
Yeah.
on the website
Yep.
and go down that rabbit hole that I mentioned, or 5 or
definitely a
6, and then you get it right there on your phone, easy breezy.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember the first conversation we had with Amy, that was in my home. We were doing podcast stuff. We were doing
No,
introductions.
we just actually we're having the conversation. We just
conversation about it. Yeah.
just came over-
And we were talking to Amy, and you had mentioned specifically that Jeff had been working on that website for over a decade. I recall that very vividly.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty important that we do direct people there, because it's so useful, and we have so many questions about it. Of course, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but it's a great tool. Right?
Yes, it's amazing.
So, both of you, how many other states are doing this? Does California have something like this? Does Virginia have something like this? Is this a unique thing in your opinion, Jeff?
So when I first started the initial creation, I looked at all different ideas, because I have, by day trade, what I was a software program manager.
Okay.
So I had some experience with testing and computer software my entire career. So I went and I researched all the different things I could find out there. And actually, at that time, Washington State was one that did have something like that.
Interesting.
And I said, oh, I like how that looks. Well, why I didn't realize, and I wish I had done now, who actually created that, and I could have worked with them, because that actually I did eventually end up working with.
I'll be darned.
and it turns out that company's in Austin. It's like, what
Funny
the?
is that?
Yeah, that's
Oh my gosh.
So I could have saved a lot of money, but anyways, we eventually accomplished it. But
Yeah.
there's not many states that actually have a mobile app.
Well, I think that's why we're so astounded by it, because it's such a cool concept.
Yeah.
It's a simple concept, but who's going to do the work? And it's just like I know a few authors, and people are always telling them, I want to write a book. Well, then go write a book. But people are not willing to pay the price to write that book, which is time, commitment, money, all these sort of things is the ingredients. And you did that. So great. I mean, that's phenomenal to me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you did an amazing job. So kudos to you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I was thinking about the filters, because I've played with it a bunch and just having a good time. You know, Amy, you were talking about the filters earlier. Right now you have filters. Are there future filters as well that are creative and even more specific to, like, let's say my needs? My wife and I are in Fredericksburg. What are some of the filters you have, and what are some ones maybe that's what your meeting was about yesterday? Maybe top secret.
Yes, we had all kinds of ideas yesterday and today as well. But one thing that I think we're really good at is taking the feedback from our wineries. So just last week, we visited a local winery and wanted to check out what was new and tell them about the platform and how we could help promote the winery. And he was looking at the app and he said, well, is there a feature where you can tell people that we're selling cigars, because we're making this part a cigar lounge? And we're like, wow, no, there isn't, but there can be. And we instantly thought of 3 other places that we know of that are wineries that do sell cigars. So Jeff did his magic behind the scenes that I can't do and don't
would not
understand.
even know where to go.
And he was able to create a new filter. So now someone can search for a winery that has cigars.
Yeah.
So that isn't a feature that everyone's going to need. And it's not a feature that every winery is going to utilize, but we have that flexibility to add something in based on what will help the wineries. And Jeff has done that several times since the launch, gotten that feedback and made some changes.
Very cool. And so, Jen, I mean, you run a winery. I mean, this is your forte. I mean, you're right in the middle of this. Is that beneficial for someone like you and for the Bingham family when they're thinking about going? And what other filters, I mean, just off the top of your head, are beneficial or could be beneficial?
We get asked a lot, like, parking. Do you have this? Do you have handicap access? Do you have? Can you bring children in?
And we added that because of you mentioning it in your podcast with you and
Lone Star Village.
yes. And so I text Jeff right away when I listened to that episode, and I said, "Hey, we don't have this. Can we add it?" And so, yes, that's super valuable information.
You get all kinds of phone calls besides like, oh, what are your hours? It's, it's detailed stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, do you have food? Can we bring food? You get all those types of questions. And
that's great.
Sometimes people will go in and dig it themselves, and sometimes they won't. So it all kind of depends on the actual person itself. So
Well, I will say that I love that y'all added the cigar part on there, because I mean, I love cigars, and Jen's husband Randall loves cigars. Hey, Randall, what's up, buddy?
Randall, shout out to Randall. Security.
Yeah. So I love that y'all added that, because I didn't even think about that either.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome.
Well, I think people like our listeners need to go through those and just play with those filters, because there's going to be a time that you're in East Texas or West Texas or up in the great country of Dallas, right? And you're going to definitely want to go through there and select that, because some people, like Jen, you said, do have children, they have to tug along, or they have the dogs. I'm amazed how many places love dogs in Texas. That's amazing.
I was kind of shocked by that too.
Yeah. So I was thinking of Jeff for a minute, though. It's so funny, Amy. If we think about this for a minute, we say, well, here's a filter that would be handy, and Jeff probably takes like 9 seconds to make that happen. I'd have to go get another 4-year degree. I'd have to do some sort of practical for another 2 or 3, like some sort of a doctor residency.
I don't want to know how that part works. I want it to stay magical.
Yes, magical.
He does the magic
Jeff,
behind
you
the
put this on your
scenes.
website, bam, it's done. Thank you.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
magical.
And if our listeners could see him right now, he's sitting over here with his arms crossed, and he's like,
He's like, yeah. Just call him the wizard.
The wizard. I like it. The
There's
wizard.
nothing behind the curtain. curtain.
Exactly.
There you go.
I love that so much. Well, it seems to me like Amy, you in particular, but Jeff, maybe you too. I mean, I just don't know. It seems like you've been traveling to wineries a lot lately. Is this a correct observation? It just seems like I see something here and there, and you're just everywhere. Is that something you're intentionally doing right now to build relationships, to learn, to connect all the dots?
Yes, I mean, it's intentional. It's also fun. I mean,
Okay.
one of the benefits is being able to visit wineries. I feel like I'm very well connected in the Hill Country, and I know who's who, and I know who's doing what, and I have awesome connections and friends in the High Plains. But when we look outside of those two specific regions, I'm not as well versed in what's happening in North Texas and East Texas. So I've made an effort to try to get out, and even if we have a recent article, a recent blog post about a winery that maybe we don't need to write about them, but I need to make those connections, and I need to see what's happening outside of these two areas. And it's kind of just for my own knowledge and knowing what else is happening, and meeting people and letting them know that I am part of this brand now, and how can I help? Here I am, help me help you, Jerry Maguire.
That's awesome. Well, I know I was kind of looking on it, but Jeff, a new winery pops up. And I don't know if this is you or Amy, or maybe you guys collaborate on this, but let's say Will's Winery pops up. What are the steps you take? Because they may not even understand the beauty of what you've done here, but do you guys go out and reach out to this new winery, to this new business model, and say, this is what we have to offer. We'd love for you to be part of that. And if that's the case, what information do you need from that winery initially to start building that online relationship?
So as far as me, I would initially create that listing in the website, which then flows to the mobile app, as Will said. And from then on, that's when I turn it over to Amy, and she handles the coordination and the marketing and communication with the wineries and all that.
So can I just interject real quick then? So before you even really make a relationship with the new winery, you've already kind of done your homework.
Well, we've actually created the listing.
You have.
So we've put as much information we can find from their website, from their Facebook page, created it. All they have to go is click claim listing, create their account, and they're done.
Wow.
And it's free.
Foolproof.
Yeah.
It's free.
Free.
And of course, we have our own listing on that.
I know we do.
That's
that
pretty
was so
awesome.
cool. I danced a little bit.
I
And to be completely transparent, did 4 back handsprings. So,
I have no video of that. So it doesn't
But
really
that's
matter.
a great point, because when Jeff started the website, and over these past years, it has been completely focused on the wineries, and it still is focused on the wineries. But what we have the ability to do now is to help people more with their travel planning, and help them with what their day or their weekend or their week is going to look like, because we can have other businesses represented. And this is where
Right.
you guys come in. You're under a tab for fun stuff on the website, and there's a list of Texas wine podcasts and documentaries and websites that we think would be helpful to consumers, and frankly helpful to the wineries as well. But we also are taking that a step further, and I haven't even told y'all this yet.
Ooh.
With a little help from you guys, we're actually going to link every one of your podcasts to the specific winery.
Okay.
So
Yes.
now not only can the consumer clicks on that winery, and they see Bingham, and they look at the location they want, and they see the hours, and they see the amenities, whether it's kid friendly, dog friendly, open, on what days, walk-ins, welcome, all that kind of stuff. And you go down a little further, you're going to see the map to see the location. You're going to go down a little further, and you're going to see every blog post that's been written in the history of the website. And then right
Nice.
below that, you're going to see the podcast or movies or documentaries that they've been featured in.
Nice.
So
Amazing.
you can literally get all of the history of that winery right through our site.
That's world class. That is big time.
That is awesome.
I wrote down, I'm a note taker. You probably noticed. I love taking notes because I don't want to forget really important. But do you guys have a patent on this? Is this something you have patented? Because you better be careful, because
Yeah.
I'm encouraging you to do that. I've worked with a lot of people in my
Yes.
life with marketing and things where you have something spectacular. All it's going to take is someone from Oregon and Florida and West Virginia. That's right. Those great West Virginia wines to snag your idea and just run with ideas. So are you interested in that? Are you willing to share that with the world?
So I think the first problem you have to find is somebody that's willing to do it.
Because it's 12, 13 years worth of work that's gotten us to where we are today. So it would be really hard to recreate it at the drop of a hat. I mean, someone could if they had the time to put into it.
Right. But it's intellectual property. This is your heart and soul and your sweat equity and the things you put into it, and your sleepless nights and money spent, money lost, relationships built, but maybe lost as well over different things. And
Jeff's writing his own note right now. He is thumb typing on his iPhone saying check into patent.
I'm taking a note. Jeff taking a note.
Wait,
We'll take notes. But I just think it's such a. Oh, we got Amber Alerts going here. To me, it's just such an awesome concept, and to also after some research, I don't see anyone else doing that. So that's why I asked you the question earlier. And Amy, I mean, Jeff is the quiet assassin over there. I get it. He's you got it. I get it. And that's awesome. And you and I are brothers. I mean, we're going to listen to rock and roll here in a little while. We're going to. I suspect we'll be dancing together. But Amy, you have this energy as well, which is pretty amazing. I'm trying to describe it here. Well, how would you describe her energy? There's something like spicy and sassy, but also intelligent and mature. But what will help me out? There's an adjective.
Sassy sounds pretty great to me.
I nailed it. Sassy
is great.
Texas wine lover.
Yeah.
That's what she is.
That is what she is. Yeah. But you're some spirit there, and that spirit's going to not only complement what Jeff is doing and continues to do brilliantly, but also I think Jeff, you needed someone like an Amy. Is that correct?
She is the perfect complement to me.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sit me behind a computer, I'm fine.
Yes.
And she's the voice and the marketing and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that is so cool. So, Amy, we're giving you pats on your back, and I think you're even blushing a little bit. It's kind of fun. I like that.
That could be the wine.
Don't think I won't make you blush in a beautiful way.
She has even for us. She has helped us.
Yes.
I'm always bouncing things off of her. Sometimes I think I overstep my boundaries sometimes, and I'm really good at doing that.
That is the definition of sassy.
Yeah, that's the sassy. Maybe. Yeah, I'll be like, Will, geez.
Yeah,
like
leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. But I mean, she is. Anytime I had an idea or something, I needed somebody to bounce off of. I will always send her a text message.
Right.
And sometimes I even just send her a message saying hi. I've done that a couple of times too, because she's so amazing. Even with Jeff, she helps out us as well. And she's just been she always helped us out on finding wineries here in Fredericksburg because she's more familiar with us.
We're in our Airbnb because of Amy. I mean, it's awesome. So let's describe it, Amy. So and again, we have other questions here too, but your energy, let's call it enthusiasm, but maybe just a thirst for life and a thirst for good wine. Have you always been this way? Or are you just an active child and you just want to do things and be busy and be productive?
I like learning for sure. And I really like connecting people. And we have a group of friends that came over for dinner one night, dinner and wine, and which were paired perfectly. Just
not surprised. Part 2 of Sassy.
And we got to talking about the strengths of each person sitting at the dining table. And it was like, one person's really good at detail, and one person's really good at research, and one person's really good at organization. And when it came around to me, I was like, I feel like I have several strengths, but I don't know what the main one would be. And every person at the table said at the same time, connector.
Ooh, nice.
And so they were recognizing something that's very fulfilling to me, which is to connect people, help people help each other, help solve a problem by connecting people. And so that's part of what I really like about the Texas industry. I mean, of course, I love good wine, and I am very committed to wine education and helping people get comfortable with wine. But I like being a part of the industry from the aspect of helping connect people to work together and help elevate the industry.
Yeah.
That's cool. And she said 2 things. First of all, that's her superhero power, right? That will give her that.
Yes.
But number 2, we have learned, Amy and Jeff, and you guys are such a big part of this because you're bringing everything together. But this community here in Fredericksburg, but more like from our perspective up in North Dallas, North Texas, this community's tight, and there's very much, it's like a connecting community, which is cool. We referenced earlier the tornado, that hit up north, and all these wineries and people and ownership coming in to help. But even down here, we've seen some cool cooperation, and it's cool. But here you are iconically doing the same thing.
Well, when we mentioned about it when we was at Toronto earlier today, and Bryce was like, "Oh, you're talking about the Hartman Ranch?"
Right, he knew.
And we're like, wow, y'all knew that about down here?
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though they weren't there to help out, they still had support if you know what I mean by they had the support of the wine industry for them up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. And you know, you being kind of, you two are the wine icon, the heart of it all, the beating heart of it all. And all these, you know, parts of our body that are moving the wineries. But even the last winery we were at, they had a little tear in their eye a little bit when they thought about the hail damage that's happening here.
Yes.
So, you know, this connectivity word, this thing we're going to describe Amy as from here on out, is pretty cool because you might just be that iconic, you and Jeff both, that iconic part of that. And it's just going to bleed or trickle down to all these wineries. So why not Texas be different? I've been in California. I've been to Oregon. My wife and I, we love Washington Oregonian wines. We love that whole community. We're just not seeing the spirit there as we see here in Texas.
That's one reason that we have existing brands from other regions wanting to move to Texas. Some people think it's the price of land. Well, that's not it. Our land is expensive in this area in particular. And some people think it's the lower taxes. Well, that probably has something to do with it because if you're a good business person, you've got to look at the bottom line. But to be honest, it has more to do with the people and the potential of the industry than anything else.
Well, you said two things there, and I'm going to dissect it if that's okay, real quick. But you said it's the potential because I agree with that. But I think it's cool. You said it's the people. You think people are relocating because they understand the culture, what's happening here, this dynamic.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're a great example of that. But are you telling me here I am, 60 minutes here? Are you telling me that you think people are coming here because the people are so dynamic? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
pretty awesome.
And the industry is more collaborative than in some regions. I worked in Sonoma last year for Harvest. I'll be in Napa this year for Harvest. It's not because I think they're doing things better than we're doing here, but I have an opportunity to learn and I have an opportunity to see how it's being done somewhere else that might help someone here. But when you're in those areas that have so much, they're established, they've, gained their reputation 30 years before we have. And we're heading on that same track that Napa's heading. If you look at the statistics for the number of wineries and the amount of wine made and the amount of wine being drank and sold, and we're on track to be where Napa is, giving us just a little more time. Yeah. But the industry doesn't seem to be quite as collaborative and willing to step in and help each other and willing to share. And I've had owners tell me, I've had winemakers tell me that's why they're coming here.
Wow.
That's why they've made
that really gets me excited.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only met phenomenal people.
Yeah. And Rusty actually had a great word for this, and it was cooperation.
Cooperate. What is it?
Cooperation.
Cooperation.
You cooperate with everybody else, but it's also competition at the same time.
Competition.
And he has such a great word for that, and I love that word. Trademark's coming soon.
Pay him his royalties. I think he got a patent on that real quick, Jeff. Yes. Well, let's shift gears just for a minute. And so what's the feedback you're getting? You two are getting. We know what we're getting through this experience, but what's the feedback, Jeff, you're getting from wineries, ownership, the people who are accessing your website and your hard work?
I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times people said, we appreciate what you do for the Texas wine industry. Mm-hmm. And that's even before the app came out.
Right.
So now, I mean, just trying to get more word out to consumers. Hey, Texas does make wine.
Yes.
I mean, I'm in Houston and I've got a director for my previous job that said, oh, Texas wine. That's a thing? It's like, wow. Yeah. So, we're just not getting the word out, and we need to do a better job at that.
So marketing, getting
and
it out there, talking about
for sure. I think that's the biggest thing. I definitely remember the very first time that I even saw y'all's website was actually during COVID, and everybody was wearing the mask, and they had Texas wine lover on it. I was just like. And then it sold out like as quickly as I was like trying to buy it.
Where's my mask? I was so wearing a mask.
Awesome.
I hate wearing the mask, but I was so wearing one just for that right there.
I might have an extra one at home for you.
Okay. That is fantastic. Good marketing.
But yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic, and people were just jumping on that like crazy. So, I mean, one of the things that I was wondering is like, when did y'all see kind of that jump off on the website? Obviously you always have the beginning. And you kind of have the slow-mo snowball into it. And so when did you really see it take off the way it has?
Good question.
Critical mass, they call that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make me think on that one.
Oh, good.
You didn't know you was going to think on this, did
Yeah,
you?
no one gave me any pre-questions here. I was like,
That was my bad.
There you go. You got one.
yeah, that's an excellent question.
It is. It's good.
Well, actually, let me try to back up then, I guess, a little bit. So 2015 is when I said, okay, we're going to try to monetize the website like most bloggers do. And that's when everything started adding on with here's the winery listings and here's, oh, by the way, nobody knows how many acres of vineyards we have here in Texas. I'm going to go find that out. So I created vineyard listings on the website, and that's there still. So I think, well, actually, we were talking about this earlier today. The Facebook group we have.
Oh,
Huge community.
Yes.
We got like what, 5,500 people, and we're not talking just consumers. I'm very proud we have a large industry population there too, and they're communicating with everybody. So it's just like a wonderful community for everybody. So maybe when all that happened, that's when we said, yeah, we're doing something okay.
that's awesome.
And what year was that? I mean, give me perspective on that.
Ooh, that's another good question. You didn't tell me.
In between the time it started and now.
I don't know. So we have like 5,500 members now. So I would guess that group probably came out in 2018, maybe 2019.
That gives me perspective for sure. Yeah.
Well, I definitely love the Facebook group and seeing the people on there, interacting with them. In fact, actually, one of them actually made me laugh was someone said there should be a podcast about talking to the winemakers and having a good time with them. And I kind of like nonchalantly said, we kind of do that a little bit. And then right underneath that is like, yeah, we know Texas Vino does that. It kind of made me chuckle a little bit and like kind of pop my collar a little
I
bit.
saw
Like,
that one. That was cool. That was cool.
Did you feel famous?
Actually, I was in Oklahoma this last week, and I told some people that I run a podcast in Texas, and they're like, "Oh, you're a celebrity." And I said, "I guess I am." I said, "You want my autograph?" They said, "Oh no, we're good."
You don't think you're that much of a celebrity yet. Not Brad Pitt or anything, right? Well, that's so cool. So, how does it feel you two? I mean, to be part of this, I wrote in the heart again. Sorry, the heart of what's going on here. How does it feel? Does it feel satisfying that you're doing a job well done? Does it feel great that you created something that people are so grateful for? I mean, describe your emotions, and maybe that is part of why you continue to charge the hill. You're continuing to do this enthusiastically.
I think that my reason for joining Jeff earlier this year was because, I've been studying wine since 2005. I took my first SOM exam in 2010. I had my own wine shop to compare Texas to other parts of the world. Mm-hmm. I started learning to make wine. I started writing about wine. And I really realized during this past year, really, that I won't be satisfied working for one winery, making one label or creating one thing. I need to connect. I need to help more. I need to expand my reach and help as many people as I can. And so I can do that through being a part of Texas Wine Lovers. So when Jeff asked if I'd be interested in being his partner because he created more work for himself than he realized he was doing, it was like, wow, that's the answer. That's how I can help more people. What I do think we both feel this way almost every day is there's still so much to do. There are still wineries that don't know that we exist. There are still consumers that love wine that don't know that Texas is making good wine.
Yeah.
Or they had wine in Texas 10 years ago, didn't like it, and they think there's no room for improvement.
Right.
Yep.
And so I still think there's a lot of work to do, but I think because of the growth that has just happened with Texas Wine Lover and because of our partnership, I think that we can I'm going to use the word army again. I think we can create a team of ambassadors who can help us elevate the industry by individually helping wineries that are near their home. And then that little reach helps that little pocket. And then someone else has their own little pocket. And we're working together to elevate the industry. So there's still work to do, but it's satisfying to me to know that I'm helping a lot of different businesses,
Right.
which are helping individual people.
Oh, yeah.
And it helps you sleep at night, but also gets you up in the morning, doesn't it? You get up with a little
Absolutely,
pep in
yeah.
your step and you're ready to rock and roll, be a problem solver, solution
Yeah.
seeker, get it done. And Jeff, how about you?
I can't
Ditto.
say any more. Yeah. That's, again, why I have Amy as a partner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have a interesting question here. Okay, so the app and the website is called Texas Wine Lover. Okay, now we all know there are some wineries in Texas that do not do zero Texas wine. They have their wines imported in. Do y'all still consider that part of the community, even though they don't do any Texas fruit wines?
It's a loaded question. And this is going to get lots of different comments from different people with very strong opinions. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but I'm just going to put the words in your mouth here.
I think you have it.
He created this to let people know about wineries in Texas.
Wineries in Texas.
So the idea was, and still is, that that you can be a lover of Texas wine, or you can be a wine lover in Texas, or you can be both. And so we can't recruit more Texas wine drinkers if we don't give them a chance to come into the community, right? So we don't want to alienate anyone. And if they are a permitted winery in the state of Texas, whether they are using 100% Texas grapes or they're not, they are still a part of the industry. They are still a winery in Texas.
Still paying taxes.
And we still have an obligation to help them. And so there are things in the works to help differentiate 100% Texas wine from not. And that has happened with labeling laws that change. And there are talks about new legislation to even create another level of permitting within the state. And this hasn't happened yet, but I know that it went up and got declined, and I'm sure will go up again, but trying to give a grower who has their own label a different permit from someone who is buying wine and reselling it.
Interesting.
So there are already things in the works to help the consumer know what they're buying. It's not our job to police every winery and determine whether we think they're worthy. I mean, that's just not, we're not wine Nazis. We're wine advocates, you know? But what we do have is one of those filters on the website, on the app. You can search for a winery and you can filter that you want a winery that only has 100% Texas wine.
There you go. I did not know that.
I see that out here.
Oh, it is on there. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Awesome.
So real quick, before we go any further, I just want to also thank again to Lonesome Vine for providing a bottle of Smitten.
Yeah.
Which is what is in my glass right now.
Ooh, I'm going there. And then what else we have
So
here?
what is it? Because I'm really smitten right now.
I'm telling you right now, every time I would get a bottle, it always seems to disappear.
You're smitten with it as well?
It's
just red.
Hang on.
Some kind of red grape.
It's actually it's a blend.
Text Chrissy real quick.
Table of wine authorities is like, this is a red wine.
Red wine.
Yes.
You're gonna get some nice red.
Smells red. While
Red
you're looking
fruit.
that up, while you're looking that up,
I don't know. Change it up.
yeah, another question real quick. Don't want to get too deep into this unless you want to share, because sometimes this is top secret, but where will this website and project be in 5 years? What is your goal? What is your vision?
World domination.
Well, you said that earlier.
That's amazing.
Yes.
No, we want to be the resource. Like when someone wants to learn about Texas wine, I don't think they need to go to Google. They don't need
That
to
is
go to Google
perfect.
and search Texas wine. They need to go to txwinelover.com and everything that they need is there.
Yes, indeed.
And the goal is to even make the shift to include more assets. I don't know the word for the industry. So one thing that we'll launch later this year is a membership for owners, winemakers, wine tasting room, where they have a place with a forum that the consumer doesn't necessarily need to see what's behind that magic curtain. Let's keep the wine romantic and beautiful, but let's have a place where where people can bounce ideas off of each other or solve problems or find their lost picking bins or ask for who has fruit available because the vineyard they were buying from has hail damage. I mean, so there's a lot of things that we can do in the next 5 years, not only to expand the reach to the consumer, but I think to help the industry, the people in the industry.
Yeah, it's encouraging, it's enhancing. I mean, it's a win-win-win for not only you guys, but for the wine consumers and then, of course, the industry.
Yeah.
So you found out you discovered the wine situation?
So I've got your information on the Smitten.
Yeah.
So it is a Rhone blend of Cinsault. Cinsault, is that correct?
Cinsault.
Cinsault. Sorry, I can't enunciate things. I'm Texan.
Told you French.
Enunciate.
Syrah, Carignan.
Carignan.
Yes. Here,
Yeah,
let,
that.
let somebody else who can enunciate this better than me.
Jen, you're on.
Here's the educational part.
Just drink some.
Grenache and Mourvedre as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I love GSM. So yes, that,
Oh, yeah,
that
GSM.
immediately got to me.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite ones from Lonesome
GSM
Vine. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
Quite
Well,
nice.
I do have one more question, but also I thought this would be fun for the three of us. Okay, is to come up with a nickname for these guys. Like, and I have I already typed mine in, and so I'm going to start it, and then I'll do my last question, and then Will and Jen, you have to come up with your nicknames, unless you want to like agree with my cool nicknames.
I'm scared.
Okay.
You ready for it?
I'm a little scared.
And I don't know.
Okay,
I don't.
yeah,
I mean,
you go first.
so Jeff, I've been super impressed with what you've done, and you're a gentleman, and I'm very, very, I'm very proud of what you've accomplished here because I'm part of this community as well now. I've intentionally done that. You're the Godfather. All right. You're the Godfather. And so
Yes.
is that good? You like that one?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Cheers
the
to that one right
salute,
there.
the Godfather. And
That's a keeper right
well,
there.
because the guy, it's like, I created that website. And yeah.
Silent.
So,
I was
yeah.
going to go with Oz, like with that magic curtain bit.
yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
thinking Oz would be a
so-
good one.
so-
can you be
we'll
the
vote.
Godfather and do the Marlon Brando style, you know?
That's right.
Nah, I can't do it as good as him.
And then for Amy, I thought about this too, and I was thinking about your energy and your enthusiasm. And so I came up with Wonder Woman, and I don't know
Yes.
why. I think you're a unique individual, spirited, that knows how to solve problems, and
Yes.
I really believe that. I believe it's your spirit, your
I
intellect, and
100%
your
agree on
maturity.
that.
So quit agreeing so
Well,
easily.
no, but I'm serious because she has even for our podcast.
Yeah.
I've leaned on her multiple times to get ideas.
I know.
And okay, you really don't know this. I'm gonna be really open and candid on this for
no.
our listeners. There's been many times where I was like, "Do we really have the capabilities of doing this?" And I would talk to you about some other stuff, not knowing that it's about this podcast. And should I continue doing this? And you would re-encourage me every time. So thank you very much.
Of course.
You're a motivator. I love that. Motivator. So you two have a few minutes to think about your nicknames, all
No,
right?
I
You-
like yours.
You
Yeah.
do? Okay, that's kind of fun.
I've been drinking wine. I don't want to think any more than I have to right
So
now.
we expect pictures on the webpage now with y'all's pictures that says the Godfather on there.
Godfather.
And Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman. There you go.
So my last question, and then these two awesome teammates probably have questions as well. But my last one is: listen, we're seeing something special happening in Texas,
Yes.
and what you're doing, you're enhancing it. You're doing, you know, that's wonderful what you're doing. What is going on here? You've been here for how long in Texas?
Well,
Lifelong.
I've been in,
Lifelong Texan.
I moved to Arizona for 2 years after college.
Okay.
But yeah, I grew up in Texas.
Yeah, and then Jeff, you as well. You're lifelong. Or?
No, 28 years.
28 years. But would you both agree something really cool is happening?
Absolutely,
And that's
yeah.
probably why you're so excited about what you're doing. But can you describe to me maybe why, I keep saying this, why maybe California is a little nervous? Why Europe is a little nervous about what's happening in Texas? Can you maybe your thoughts? Because I think you two have such great, reflections and profound.
I mean, y'all do have y'all's hands
experiences.
on the jugular of wine stuff going on.
I don't know that the California industry or the Bordeaux industry or the Rhone industry is worried that Texas is going to take over.
Okay.
But I do know that we're getting noticed more now, more in the last 5 years than in the previous 50 years. Even.
Yes.
Wow.
So we're getting noticed, and that needs to continue. And we have that, what I mentioned earlier, like the Texas spirit, the spirit of Texans who have guts and work hard and aren't afraid to try and experiment and give it a go. And so the same thing I said earlier with established brands moving here from other regions, because they want the flexibility, they want the synergy and the camaraderie, they want to be able to experiment and try different grapes. When you are in a region that has become known for a specific grape or a specific style of wine, whether we're talking about Washington Merlot or Napa Cab or Sonoma Pinot, it's hard to break out of that mold that everyone has fit into and to make a name for yourself making a different kind of wine. Right. And so I think for some of them, it's easier just to start over here and give it a go here and do something different than where they were from, or both. Make one kind of wine here and one kind of wine there and keep the label in both places. We're already seeing that happen, and I don't think it's going to slow down. I think it's going to increase.
That's exciting. Yeah. Jeff, how about you? How do you feel about it all? I mean, you started this landslide.
So actually, I don't look at it as a landslide. As one winery owner, I don't know how many years ago, talked about it. It's actually a mountain. And Texas wine is climbing up that mountain, like sort of like you see like in the railroad cars or whatever, making up that climb to that mountain. Well, Texas Wine Lover is here to climb that mountain along with the Texas wine industry.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
Maybe give you a little push on your butt if you need it.
On that little caboose.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we say on there? I think I can. That's right.
Exactly.
I went back to my childhood for a moment as well. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, any other questions from you two?
I will have to say that y'all have done something truly amazing, and coming into this wine industry, myself, just started drinking wine 4 years ago, doing the exact same thing, drinking sweet wines, and met somebody who piqued my interest to wine, and then coming across this amazing man, Michael, over here, and we learning together, and then coming across this amazing young lady right next to me, Jen, and she's helping educate me as well. And then I meet y'all, and y'all educate us as well.
It's intoxicating.
It's intoxicating. And then talking to all these wine makers and these wine owners and learning from them and how they all work together. And I love that your app brings everybody together in one centralized location. And so kudos to you and your hard work. I know there's many hours. I've been an app developer also, so I understand, and a web developer. So I understand the nights of laying awake. Because, I mean, trust me, making our website, I have laid there and like, crap, did I do that?
Pretty cool.
But, it's just, I'm a little starstruck, I'm not going to lie, because I've been reading y'all's stuff for a while. And so getting down and talking to you guys has been absolutely amazing. So I appreciate.
Well, we do appreciate you very much, Godfather.
I do appreciate it. Well, anything else you two want to say just before we wrap up part one of our podcast here? We're going to do a little education today and just have some fun.
So I would like to ask every winery in the state to make sure that they hop on txwinelover.com and claim your listing. Go to the right side of the page. There's a place to search for your business. And so you search for it, click on your business name, and then click on the orange box that says claim listing. It's free, but if you can help us help you, it's a way to keep your hours up to date, to let the consumer know what kind of wines you have, let them know whether you're kid-friendly, pet-friendly, or sell cigars, right? Whether you make 100% Texas wine, all of that has been done, but it was done at the development of the app, which has now been a year and a half ago. And we can't, the two of us, manage that for 510 wineries. So if we could get some help with all the wineries making their presence better known and keeping their information up to date, that's really an ask that I would like to make.
And you can lean on our shoulders, we'll lean on yours. We will do our part to help with that for sure. Everyone we meet and greet and run into, for sure, we'll be talking about you too.
I'll show you how to do it.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, sounds good.
Love it.
Yeah. And then Jeff, any final
Step by
thoughts?
step. We'll do a video.
Yeah, right.
Of it. Exactly.
Tutorial.
Exactly.
Wrap it up, Jeff.
I think that was just said again.
Yeah,
Ditto.
yeah. Ditto.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to help the wineries, and actually, it didn't really say during this podcast, I don't think, but it's not just wineries. It's those businesses that are around the wineries, because I live in Houston. If I come out to the hill country or I go up to high plains, I need a place to stay.
That's right.
I need a place
Food.
to eat.
Definitely high
It's
plains.
all those businesses that are affiliated it, and including what we have a category called services. So all those businesses like tour companies and drivers, they're all there to help wineries. We're all working together. Let's accomplish this.
Wow. And I will tell you something, Jeff. The first time I messed with that aspect of the app, I put it down. I'm like, that is amazing.
Yep.
That is so spectacular.
Yep.
I'm very impressed with that feature.
So I do have a question here, and I actually just looked on the app for this, and I didn't look on the website yet. But is there a section on there for users? Dang it,
Listeners.
listeners.
Listeners. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I had to do that on the side. Listeners, if they want to add an enhancement to the app, can our listeners do that? I just looked. I didn't see an option for that.
You mean request an enhancement?
Request
Yes.
probably be better.
Request an enhancement.
Yeah. No, but there's a contact us that's definitely there,
Yeah,
and so
it is an email.
send us
Yeah.
the
If you know it,
information.
send me a text. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
some
it
of our
can
listeners
all
don't have your
happen
number, so
pretty-
But obviously, contact us. But obviously,
I want
these two.
to.
It's a trap.
We did just meet two people. If they get an email, I'm pretty sure they're going to make accommodations
Yes,
or at least
yes.
consider it. So.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Well, thank
awesome.
you both so much. What a pleasure. Starstruck was a good word.
Yes.
And
So one last thing here. We got 2 more bottles of wine. Why did everybody just follow their seat when I said that?
One last thing.
Well,
Two
I
last
just-
things.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm ready to grab one of
Yes.
these other bottles.
So I wanted we got 2 more bottles that we haven't even drank yet.
I know.
We want to give a shout out to RK again
Okay.
for their
That's
Syrah
what
here.
I'm pouring for Jeff.
He
This
actually
is the
pulled-
2018 Syrah.
Yeah, he actually pulled that out of his personal collection for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks,
Grayson?
Is this Grayson?
Yes. this is
Oh,
Grayson.
I know this Grayson, I think, from listening to your podcast.
oh, mercy.
Oh, mercy. And then we have
Make Grayson
Michael, can
blush.
You describe about the Firelight.
Yeah,
Trailblazer?
Firelight that is an amazing group up there, and we love it. This is my favorite wine out of
What-
Firelight, out
what
of
is it?
Valley View.
Yeah, Meredith.
Meredith out of Valley View. That's
This
right.
one's called Trailblazer.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So-
if you've listened to our podcast, the 20th episode, we played the 10-minute laughing spill we went through. It was
Have y'all actually
ridiculous.
listened to that yet?
Oh my goodness, so much fun. So yes, so now let's go to our break, and I appreciate you guys so much. Great
Yes.
questions, you two are amazing, and we appreciate all of our listeners.
Yep, we'll be right
you.
back.
Cheers.
Hey, this is Jeff Coe from TexasWineLover.com. We're here with Will, Michael, and Jen from We Know Texas Vino.
And this is Amy Nemec with the Texas Wine Lover mobile app. We're wrapping up the interview and moving into the wine education portion of the episode, so stick with us.
Welcome back, everyone. We're having a great time here in Fredericksburg. I've had a delightful time here
Yeah.
with Jeff and Amy. I've learned so much.
Man, I've got the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah, you do.
It kind of hurts because, I mean,
Your cheeks are going to hurt later tonight.
Ice
Well, actually,
packs on a
during our break, you said something that cracked me up. I'm not going to repeat it. It's about a woman, and but it is
love
fun
you.
to laugh and smile. And I think it's one of our goals here with the
Yes.
podcast is for people to be just quit being so uptight.
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Let's
Don't be
enjoy the community,
pretentious.
enjoy wine, let's
It's
enjoy
wine.
good people.
It's
Yes,
not
it's wine.
rocket science.
Right.
We're not curing cancer. We're making people happy by pouring them wine.
It's a
I mean,
first world problem. If you, it's a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing.
Yes.
So, but Jen, again, thank you for being here too. And I know you brought your hubby with you, Randall. He's out there somewhere doing
he
something.
went,
I know he's
he went to
doing
do some security work.
security work. But Jen,
the grounds.
yeah, making the rounds. Jen, you're going to talk about some education today. I know we have a really fun topic that we've been thinking
Yes.
a lot about, and so I want to have you kind of lead the show there with that. Okay.
One of the things that we've been really harping on is Texas wine, and learning about how to drink Texas wine. And some people they come in and they automatically go, "Oh, I only drink California Caps." Well, let's start learning about it. Let's start figuring out our palates. And I think it's one of the best ways to do that is going and doing different types of wine tastings and bringing on the app and everything and talking about, oh, this place does this type of tasting, this type of things and everything. I think Amy could do a fantastic job of explaining, how to explain to the normal people
Right.
outside of the
Yeah.
realm of how to drink Texas.
And how to do it properly, and then how to appreciate what you're experiencing. So yeah.
Yes.
I think as a consumer, the big thing to remember is that you're at a wine tasting, not at a wine drinking. So you can try anything that server is willing to pour in your glass. You don't have to like it. that guy behind the counter probably is not the winemaker, and it's not gonna hurt their feelings if you don't like the wine. And not only that, even if it is the winemaker, wine is so subjective. It's just like food. We don't have one food. We don't have one restaurant in the world that makes the same one thing. I hope that's not where the future goes.
Right.
with living in space or something, but there's different tastes for different people, and so winemakers aren't offended if you don't love the wine they just poured you. So be willing to try anything. Don't say that you don't like Merlot. Don't say that you only drink sweet wine. Don't put a barrier up from the very beginning. Be willing to try and spit it out. I am an expert spitter, except when I dribble down my chin and all down the front of my shirt, in which case I'm not so
We're all
expert.
laughing because this all happened to us,
I don't know
right?
what you're talking about. Never.
But you should try any wine that someone puts in your glass. So if you're a consumer that is starting with sweet wine, because that's where we all started, none of us grew up in Bordeaux with red magic in our
Flowing
baby
from the
bottles.
heavens.
So we all started with sweet wine, and we gradually got to something else. So if you're a consumer who only drinks sweet wine, you can use the website and the app to find a winery that has sweet wine. But when you get there, be willing to try something that isn't as sweet.
Be
because
open-minded.
something is going to flip that switch in your mind. My other suggestion is, and this is even for advanced wine enthusiasts, if you always drink Napa Cab, don't expect Texas Cab to taste like Napa. But tell your server, my favorite wines are Napa Cabs.
Right.
And they will probably have a different grape that grown in Texas will remind you of a Napa Cab.
Definitely.
Correct. Yep.
So my favorite bolder kind of fruit forward reminds me of Napa is Texas Alianico, Texas Petite Syrah.
Yes.
Those are my go-to wines when people say they like Napa Cab. They may not know what Alianico is. They may not know anything about where it comes from, but it's going to remind them of a Napa Cab. So be open to trying something different. And as a server, don't let the barrier discourage you.
Right.
And try to encourage people to spit and to pour out and just to try what you have to pour them.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to spit wine. That's part of
Yeah.
the culture. I mean, I don't particularly care to do that. But,
I got it in my mouth. I'm going to swallow
what
it.
was that quote I did earlier? A cork is just an excuse. What was an excuse?
It's for quitters.
For quitters.
For quitters.
Corks are for
For quitters.
quitters.
For quitters.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. And so same thing too. I mean, if I got wine in my mouth, I may as well consume it, right? But yeah, so that's pretty important to understand
Yeah.
that evolution.
But I think a big part of it is, when we're educating people is that we want to talk about let's read your palate. Okay. And then I like to do a lot of blind tastings in front of people and okay, we're going to go from what my perception of the driest to sweetest or whatever, and then throw in some random ones. I'm like, okay, did you think that was too sweet or too dry? And then kind of, because you'll find out when people blindly taste that they are opening up their palate so much more and they're tasting so much more.
Yep. Love it.
And so being a little fun with it, I think, is a big.
I love blind tastings.
my
I
favorite.
love blind tastings. But I also think you just made me think when you talked about sweet and dry, as a consumer or as a server, don't get hung up on the wine terms that are proper because dry in the wine world means the opposite of sweet.
Correct.
But the average consumer thinks dry is how the mouth feels when they drink the wine.
Right.
So as a consumer, talk about your wine like you would talk about your food. Use the same words that you would use with a meal. And as a server, you can do the same thing. And what it does is it makes wine more approachable for most of your customers because they don't feel intimidated by not knowing the right word to use.
Right.
So if someone says, I only drink dry wine, and you are pouring the wine for this person, what does dry mean to you?
Right.
How does that make your mouth feel? When they say, I can't drink white wine because there's too much acid, okay? what is acid to you? Because acid is your mouth watering,
Right.
but most people will think of acid as a lemon tart
Exactly.
flavor.
Yes.
Right.
So ask questions so that you can get to know that customer's palate and you can serve them better. And as a consumer, just use food words. Don't worry about the wine words.
Right.
Don't make it harder than it has to be. Again, it's not rocket science. It's drinking wine. So
Right.
make it fun and don't get hung up on the technicalities, I
Sure.
guess.
Yep.
I like that.
That was extremely well said,
Yeah.
actually. That was
You know-
very well done.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times people goes, I only drink sweet wines, and then
Yep.
I give them a sweet wine. They go, no, I don't like that. I'm like, well, what do
That-
you drink? How do
Exactly.
you take your coffee? You know, I ask all these
There
different
you
like,
go.
types
Very
of
nice.
questions. And then I found out, oh no, you just like fruit forward wines.
Exactly.
Yes.
You don't like sweet wines. You actually like dry wines. You just don't know it. But
Yes.
I'm gonna teach you. And so I love that. That's
I love that
fantastic.
too. I do.
You know, in my experience so far in the wine industry is that people who have started drinking wines, that drink sweet wines, I have seen that somebody will give them a glass of wine of something and it's really, really dry, and they automatically think that all red wines are going to be dry. And I have to explain to
true.
them, you can't just go there and grab a Cabernet Sauvignon right away. You can't grab a GSM. You can't grab whatever and drink it and expect to like it right away. You can't
to
do that.
ease into it.
You have to
You have
ease
to
into
take
it.
baby steps.
So I tell them, like, get a Pinot Noir that is not heavily dry. I mean, it's still fruit forward sometimes, and it's not. It's just like perfect balance. And I've given people tastings who have done nothing but sweets and did that. I eased them slowly, going from a Pinot Noir to a Cab Sauv, Tempranillo, so forth, down like that. And I'd say by the time I get you the end one, it's going to be dry. I warn them it's going to be dry. And then I tell them if you make it through all these tastings and you still at the end do not like it, I'll give you a glass of free sweet one for free. And
Or Chris Pie 5, whatever. You did it. Good job.
so, but 9 times out of 10, they will go on there and they'll like, oh, I like this. I didn't realize I really liked this. And it brings joy to me to teach these people who have no understanding because somebody gave them a glass of wine 10 years ago that was a heavy, dry wine.
Right.
And now they're drinking it and they're like, oh, I like this. This is actually really good.
I call it the law of the lid in my whole life, whether it's sports marketing or whatever it is. But don't put a cap on your educational opportunities. Don't put a
Right.
cap and like almost like preconceived, notion about what this is going to taste like. Be so open-minded, and wine is a
Yes.
fun community because we joked about earlier that you're not having bar fights in wineries, right? You're having people who are having intellectual, fun-spirited conversations. You're building friendships, those sort of things. So for me, just being not putting that lid on the potential of what you
Yes.
can accomplish in the wide world is super important to me. I call it
Yeah.
the law of the lid. It's a family thing.
So
So.
you know what I actually want
like
to do?
that.
I want to go around and talk about what we started with,
Oh,
and
that's
then
a
what
good point.
we are currently at.
Oh, that's
And,
really
like,
good.
How did you get to where you are?
Let's start with The Godfather.
Yeah.
And you should do that every episode.
Honestly,
like
I think it should
every
be.
winery, you should be like, what was your first wine and what is now your favorite wine?
Let's do like the next. We'll do like 10 in a row. We'll do something
I'm
like
not
that.
trying to tell
starting
you what
next
to
week-
do. but
tomorrow.
I am Wonder
I'm a
Woman,
note-taker.
and so
Starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow. Let's
Starting tomorrow.
That's an Amy idea. An Amy edition. Well, Jeff, we'll start with you because you are the Godfather, but also
you went from not knowing anything about wine to
Yeah,
and
you
a
said-
box in your
box of
refrigerator.
wine.
websites ever, and like Godfather.
yeah, dude.
He's fixing to knock you off of the kneecaps.
There's your horse in the bed. Okay.
Reference, love it, got it.
Oh man.
Yes.
No, actually, yeah. When Gloria and I started, primarily, like Amy said, it's all sweet wines. I mean, I don't know, the first 2 or 3 years we go to wineries, we wanted just to taste their sweet wines. We didn't drink any of those dry stuff. And then it eventually got to like, I think everybody else is drinking this red stuff. Maybe we should try some of this.
Okay.
Well, I hate to say it, but now today it's probably like 95% in our cooler is
Yep.
actually red.
Yep.
So
Well, you just told me that your mission when we go visit wineries right now is you need to buy whites because y'all don't have any.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's summertime.
yeah,
we need
it's summer. You need
chilled
some
whites.
white, and you don't have any. So yeah, you're definitely drinking mostly reds.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I started. If my mother's not listening to this podcast,
Is your mother a big podcaster?
Not really, no. But high school, Seagram's wine cooler.
Uh-oh.
Seagram.
Hey, those are
Wild,
good.
Wild Island, which to me, knowing wine now, I would equate that to like a Sauvignon Blanc. Like it was the crisp tropical flavors, a little bit more acid, right? But it was 1999 when my husband proposed to me over a bottle of Sutter Home White Zinfandel.
Wow.
Yummy.
That was like a real wine.
Oh, and that's your turning point in life, in both ways.
Like that was a real
So
wine.
is this like an anniversary bottle every year?
No. Do you call it a Magnum when it costs $8.99 for the big, large format?
Oh,
I
mercy.
don't
No,
know
but
that
true
you do.
love has
Yeah,
prevailed.
So now his favorite is Petit Verdot, hands down. Petit
Oh,
Verdot is
one of
his
my
favorite
favorites.
grape. You know, always that's what he's going to order if it's a choice. I'm an equal opportunity wine drinker. I give everything a fair shake. I never say I don't like a grape, although there are some that are very popular in Texas that are not my favorites, but I'll always try them. And I'm
Right.
always surprised by one. And I'm like, oh, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I never say never, but I drink a wide variety. I'm like a moody drinker. Like
moody
what
drinker.
my
Whatever,
mood
yeah,
is.
exactly, yeah.
You know, is it hot? Am I inside? Am I outside? Is there food? Food is a big part for me. I pair wine with our dinner every single night, and it's an intentional pairing.
Wow.
Nice.
That's so cool.
But it's like, but it
life.
means we drink all over the place. We
Yeah.
drink all sorts of different things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I was never a sweet wine guy at all, but in college, I was kind of a unique guy. Like my apartment was always clean. I don't know what to say about that, being a young bachelor and playing college baseball.
That's
and
weird.
Yeah,
The look
very
on
strange.
Amy- the
But
look
also,
on
I was-
Amy's face is
I was
like-
very studious, and so I would study a lot because I liked GPAs, and so I was kind of a unique athlete for sure. But I would always study with a white wine. It just kind of gave me perspective, and really, I'm a big reader. I haven't owned a TV in 21 years. I'm still a big reader, but I evolved big time to red. So my wife and I, our whole cabinet. I mean, I don't remember the last bottle of white that I purchased in a supermarket. I have purchased some from wineries, but I don't remember the last time. Whereas reds are kind of the thing, and I know Will knows that. He's been to my place, but I'm a red wine guy through and through, and I love
Yeah.
a good glass of red wine. Now I do try to have different tastes going on and different, like a moody kind of thing. I want to know what I'm eating and drinking. But for me, you get anything with Syrah or a Tempranillo,
Yep.
I'm a pretty happy camper these days.
This Arcade Syrah is delicious.
It is most definitely, and for me, I started out drinking sweet wines, Moscato, sorry, and I met a very amazing, beautiful woman that made fun of me. She said,
Rightfully.
yeah, rightfully. She compared it to Thunderbird and Strawberry Hill. For y'all who know who that is.
Yeah.
We ended up going to Messina Hoff and we drank some sparkling from there, their rosé and their almond, which their almond was amazing, and walked down to Landon on a Wednesday, half price bottles, and we were there literally every day from 11 to 5, drinking
Working.
between and working. By the way, and we were drinking 3 to 4 bottles, 5 bottles, depending on the days we had our meetings, and she helped me. She helped me change my palate, you know, and from the change of my palate came the change of eating the foods. And so now I eat a lot better food now. And I think you said, Amy, you're an equal opportunity when it comes to wine. I don't just tag on to one bottle or one style or one vintage or one varietal. If it's good, I like it. If it touches my palate, it's really good, and I love it. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to buy me bottles of it. And I'm going to give a shout out right quick to Andrew and Christy. Their bottle of Smitten is absolutely probably one of the best bottles of wine I've ever drank, and
Wow.
I've got several bottles of those in my refrigerator.
We'll be over your place then.
No, you're not. But
He's afraid you'll leave with it.
they never seem to always have legs and walk away, you know. But
There's always a hole.
yeah, there's always something going on. So I just love drinking wine now. And there's not one that I have not liked. Well, actually, we touched about this earlier in the main part of the segment. You know, you drink like Tannat. I drank Tannat from one winery. I did not care for it. Turned around and drank it from Rustic Spur, and I loved it. So you can't have a blind eye with your palate when it comes to drinking wine, because one winery might have it, you may not like it, to go to another one, you will.
Well, that validates Amy's point, though, right? You
Yeah.
just try it. It's not going to hurt you to
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah. Try it and spit it out if you don't like
You
it.
bet.
It's not that.
Or
no harm,
swallow
no
it and just grinch while
Suck it
you're
up.
doing it.
Grit. What about you,
Let's
Jen?
go.
Jen, do you even like wine?
She hates
Still
it.
learning.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that, my very first alcoholic beverage was my 21st birthday.
Oh.
So, like, legitimately.
Unlike
I
me
was just
in
like-
high school, underage. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
Mad Dog 2020.
Your mother proud, her mother
Not so
a little
much.
bit hesitant to.
But, and I went into this industry, with the Binghams, truly. I was a restaurant manager for 12 years before I even thought about wine. So I tell them all the time, I was like, I knew how to open it and I knew how to drink it, but I liked reds and everything. But honestly, I really did start with like Pretty Label. And so that's what I went to, is Pretty Label. And I got into like a German style for a long time. So I love me some Rieslings and stuff like that. So I was on the Riesling train for a bit. But yeah, I think Pinot Noir was my very first red that I was like, that's a girl that I like to talk to.
You evolved. Awesome.
So-
well, that was fun. So, thank you guys very, very
Yes,
much.
thank
We've had a
you.
fun time with this podcast. We have a couple, just quick announcements, and then we're going to wrap it up here. But takeaways, real quick. Takeaways are fun for us because we get to learn something. There's never been a moment during a podcast that we have not learned something valuable here. So, Will, we always start with you. You get to kick it off, my friend.
I have to look at Jeff and say, you're an inspiration because you took an app and you could have stopped at any given moment, through your bumps in the road, but you kept persevering through and say, I'm going to do this. And thank you for creating an amazing website, an amazing app. And you're an inspiration to not just me, because I'm going through a lot of bumps in my life. And just to see that you've come out on the other end of it, it's just amazing. And thank you for creating an amazing app and website.
Yeah, kudos. Miss Jen.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing. And, like I said, sitting next to a rock star is amazing. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the signature.
I thought it was The Godfather.
That was not bad. That was good.
Godfather rock star is up there.
Potato.
Same thing. But it's amazing to have such a, as a Texan, born and raised, especially for me, is you find a certain type of girt when it comes to like that type of human being. I joke around that Texas has to have thick-skinned grapes because we're thick-skinned people. It's not necessarily the truth, but we are stubborn. We like to persist, and y'all have shown that you keep on going.
Yeah.
You'll find success.
Never quit, right? Yeah. And mine's more selfish. I am so delighted to be part of a collaboration and a teamwork atmosphere with you two. And so for me, my takeaway, it just really reinforced that we're blessed,
Yes.
Will. When I'm gonna give you kudos. You're the ones that built this relationship initially. And so for us to have that collaboration, to me, I feel like we're part of the, I'm not gonna say tidal wave, okay? I'm gonna say part of the
Evolution.
How about
Choo-choo
part of
train.
the power wave? There's a power wave. There's something
Yes.
happening here, which is beautiful. I think Texas is on a tipping point of exploding. And I think that we, because of our connection with you two crazy kids, I think that we are going to run big time together. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm pretty proud of that. So listen, we have some great sponsors, Will, don't we? Of course, we're here with one of them. And then we have another great sponsor as well. Let's give them their kudos real quick.
Yeah, TexasWineClub.com.
Yeah, right down the road.
Yeah, right down the road. Get in there and sign up, people. I mean, they provide a great service out there that, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just a great service. If you can't make it to the Hill Country, you can't make it to West Texas or East Texas or South Texas, they will get you some bottles of wine so you try, so you know, okay, I'm going to go here and try some wines.
Well, just like, I think everyone who's listening to this, and of course, we're going to tell everyone, go to Texas Wine Lover, the website, and learn and just have fun with it. I mean, you're on Facebook anyway, and ESPN and all your news channels. Go there and have some fun with it because you can learn about it. Same thing with Texas Wine Club. I think go there and experiment and learn and just do that fun stuff. Amy?
I just had an idea
Oh.
Uh-oh.
that is for later conversation. Sorry. This is my ooh, I got to remember this.
Okay.
So I'm
Don't
sticking
move
my
that
finger
finger.
up. So sorry. You can edit that out.
Tickled finger
I
of
just
fate.
had an idea. And I'm like, ooh, we got to talk about that in a minute.
That's right. Will just says one more thing. Yes. Well, we're grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. So Jeff and Amy with just an amazing exploding program you have going on. Randall, who's out there, our security guard, my wife Erica, thank you very much. Jen, Will, you guys are amazing. I have a quick quote. I only have one right now. So you guys ready for it?
Uh-oh.
Ready.
Let's finish this program here. Okay. I drank so much wine last night when I walked across the dance floor to get another glass. I won the dance competition.
Hey, there you go.
This is Michael.
This is Will.
This is Jen.
Cheers.
Cheers.